It was the month of December 2009, and me and my husband were a part of a queue. It was a cold morning and each and every person in the queue was shivering. But every person in the queue was committed and dedicated to their purpose of standing in that line. In those casual conversations with the people standing in the line, we got to know that the very first person in the line had arrived there at 4:30 a.m. And then there were people who had reached really early. So me and my husband, who made it super fast with our morning ablutions and tea, were somewhere in hundreds. And then there was a long queue behind us. So this was the queue outside the gates of the most prestigious school in Lucknow, which was the Loreto Convent. And this queue was to collect the forms for the admission for the academic year 2010-2011. I had a dream in my eyes of my daughter being a student of Loreto Convent, because it was fed in our mind, it was wired in our minds that if you have a daughter, if you have a girl child, it is a mission of your life to get your child admitted in one of these top 3 schools of Lucknow. Because if you cannot do so, throughout your life you will live in that guilt that you could not make it. And your child will be deprived of that brand tag. And you will be deprived of the ability to boast in front of your friends and your acquaintances. I was brought back in my senses with an announcement. And that announcement was that the gates are going to open shortly. So everybody was super excited because the race was going to begin. The forms were limited and the aspirants were unlimited. So it was not only a matter of pride, but in fact it was a matter of life and death. So the gates finally opened. The queue turned into a mob. Everyone started running inside the gate towards the counter, trying to push and pull each and every person in their way. While running, one of the persons stepped on my foot and my toe ring was pressed in my toe and it started bleeding. I was in unbearable pain. So my husband helped me to make it to the side of the way, and now it was his turn to run. So he took the baton from my hand, which was the certificates and photograph of my daughter. He took the baton and started to run. You can see my husband running in this picture, which was published next day in the newspaper. In this picture, you can also see a lady who fell down while running in that race. So my husband was in dilemma whether to help this lady to get up or to keep running. The sportsman inside my husband provoked him to help the lady, but the father inside my husband told him to keep running. So my husband decided to follow the father inside him and he kept running. When I reached near the counter, lamening, I found my husband holding the form in his hand and smiling ear to ear as if he had won the race and that form was his trophy. So you must be thinking that after all this mental and physical labor, my daughter must be a student of Loreto Convent today. No, my daughter is not a student of Loreto Convent because she was not able to make up to the interview. But that is a complete different story. But the point here is that since childhood, we are hardwired that life is a race and you have to win it. You have to be number 1 because nobody bothers who is number 2. But why to win the race? Why to be the best? By the way, what is best? Is there any parameter to measure the best? Sadhguru says, you don't want to be the best. You want to be better than the person sitting next to you. This is an ailment. This is a disease because you are not happy with what you have. You are happy with what others don't have. Because they are number two, it is a source of joy for you. When you enjoy something which others don't have, when other people's suffering becomes a source of joy for you, it is sickness, not joy. Yes or yes? Competition is good, but for a short time. It is important to win the race, but life is not a race. Imagine if life was a race. To win, you had to hit the finish line first. Imagine if life was a race, you had to hit the finish line first. Now what does that mean? Do you want to hit the finish line first? Do you want to hit the finish line today? So why to be the best? Why to win the race? You just have to be the best you can be. You have to be everything you can be. You don't have to be better than anyone. In fact, you cannot be better than anyone because each and every person is unique. You are the only one of your kind. Life is not a race. It is not important to win the race. It is not important to be better than anyone. Every day, just be the latest and greatest version of yourself. So this is Surabhi Jain saying goodbye till we meet again with a new story. But before that, like my video, share my video, and if you are new to my channel, click that subscribe button and don't forget to hit that bell icon so you get notified whenever I share a new story.